What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Once again, we are back here in the garage with another vehicle to work on. It's another golf ball dent. I've been getting a lot of them lately. My last video was just on one, but it is the season, I guess. So I'll walk you through what we have. It's a newer BMW X3. And the customer said she was driving down the road right past a golf course and a golf ball smacked her on the hood. So I'll show you what we have. It's a pretty good dent. You can see golf balls make very, very deep dents. And this is an aluminum hood. It's going to be a difficult one. I'll use a lot of heat on this and see what we could do, you know, making it look the best we can. I don't know if this is going to be perfect. The metal is really stretched on these, and I don't like starting with rubber tip tools or anything like that with these, or glue pulling it, because honestly sometimes it kind of makes it harder for me in the end. I rather start with, like, you know, a metal tip or a sharper tip tool and start working that center out. I think when you try to pull too much of it or push too much of it, like with a rubber tip, it kind of just works up the whole area and doesn't get out that deepness like I like. So I'll show you what we have too. I think it's actually right under the bracing. So it's like right around here somewhere. So we couldn't even get a, a rubber tip on that anyway, but we'll get started on this. We'll take you along with this as we normally do, see how this thing turns out. So let's get going. All right, it's working up nice. I'm glad I started with the whale tail, just like a metal tip, as I mentioned. Sometimes when you start with glue or a rubber tip, when it's that deep, it doesn't take out the center, it works up the whole area around the dent. Then it makes it a lot harder for you trying to get out that center later on. So I'm glad we started like this, just starting in that deep center part and just slowly working it. I'll show you the results so far. So it's looking good. This is another thing I wanted to mention. So when you work a dent that deep, it's good to cross check it. So as you know, we worked it from the front this way, but But now I switched over to the side here. And this is where you can see a lot more low spots or little tiny imperfections where you can like touch it up. So sometimes that happens when you're working a deep dent like that. It's good to cross check it. And then on this hood, it's nice because I was able to work it from the front and then go around the sides. Sometimes when you're working on a panel and you can't really get a different angle on it, it could be tough. But this is coming up nice. I'm pretty much just using the whale tail heat gun, not too many tools out. My coffee, of course, you need that. But yeah, it's coming up good. So we're gonna keep going on this, get this thing done, and let's get going. All right, we are all finished up. It came out really nice. It's not perfect, but it looks really good. When you get a dent that deep, the metal's stretched. So you have extra metal and you got to figure out what to do with it. You could try to shrink it a little, you know, heating it up, moving it around. And that's what you got to do. Just keep working it, moving that metal around, blending it away. And that's what we did with this one. So I'll show you the results. It looks really, really good. I think the customer is going to be happy with it. You remember that big deep spot in the center there came out, and I guess if you can see it, there might be a tiny, tiny little shimmer. It's almost like the paint was dented. So that golf ball was spinning at such a high speed. So when it hit the car, they do that a lot. It almost like dents the paint itself. It doesn't chip it, it just kind of like makes marks in it. So when you're working the dent back out, you have to like kind of work that as well, you know, making that orange peel match the rest of the car. So you got to think too, she was driving and then the golf ball's super high, spinning at such a high speed, and then hits her car. It makes some pretty tough dents. But I think she's going to be really happy with this. She was upset. It's understandable. It's a nice car. It's new to her. So I'm glad we can help her out. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you can, like, subscribe to the channel. We'll do more videos and we'll catch you next time.